Oh, it's you again.
Welcome back.
Oh, that's concerning.
Oh, hi, I'm Marc, a professional artist, an art teacher, and in this week's episode of my weekly series I call YouTube Art School, I'll use my bald man's wisdom and also my 18 years as a professional artist to offer a couple of solutions or answers to typical artist struggles. Because so many artists end up breaking up with art, struggling over things that can easily be avoided or dealt with. Let's make sure that won't be you. Quickly, let's get this class started. Shh. All right, class is in session. Pay attention. When you're in a public position like mine, you get to read and hear a lot of stories from artists of all walks of life, whether it's from old coworkers, students, or artists like you here on YouTube. My students and I often work through some common artist struggles in private, but today I'll share some of the more common ones I hear and how to best deal with them. Stuff like self-confidence, slow progress, low motivation to draw despite your love for art, not getting attention online, early career struggles, a bunch of different things. If you have no struggles, wow, you're so cool. Then hit the mute button and check out the time-lapse I'll be playing in the background here of some recent drawings I did this week. If you've had struggles though, and I'll just start by saying all those struggles I'll discuss today, I've had myself at some point. We all go through these things, I think. What's most important is how prepared you are to deal with them. So first we'll go over common struggles starting out as an artist. Then we'll move on to motivation struggles, and we'll end with art career struggles. But right after you pay the class fee of either one like or one sub. It's very affordable, so do it if you can. It helps me reach more artists with the class. Wow, well done. So let's start with some common struggles we face as artists just starting on our art journey, yeah? Initially, a lot of you will be wondering how to even get started as an artist. Like, where do you go to learn? There's so many resources available now, both free here on YouTube and paid courses and programs from various sources. I guess the best answer here is to approach this differently and ask yourself who you want to learn from rather than where to learn from. Learning from a good artist is not the answer most of the time. Wait, what? Good artists don't necessarily make good art teachers. Actually, they often don't. When I started teaching, honestly, my tutorials sucked. It's a vastly different skill set, creating art and teaching how to create art. Look for teachers first, but obviously teachers who can also create the art at a professional level. It's hard to teach something you can't do yourself. Finding people who are both experienced teachers and artists is quite rare. I've been focusing on both now for many years, so obviously I'll recommend that you check out my content. I think it's gotten pretty dang solid, but there are others. Just make sure you look for that kind of experience. Now, let's say you found a few good sources to learn from. Maybe on YouTube, maybe paid video courses by good artist teachers, books, whatever. But what do you focus on learning first? There's so much, right? Most artists will start just drawing what they like, copying other artists, and that's fine initially to have fun. That's how I started too. But what if you get serious about it and find yourself looking for ways to actually get better? For structure in your studies. The quick answer is to focus on the fundamentals of art, the building blocks that will allow you to draw anything from imagination eventually. The ones I personally consider in order that you should tackle them are gesture drawing, perspective, construction, anatomy, color and light theory, design, and composition. I actually have a class going over all of them down in the description if you're curious. Still, that's a very rough plan. For something more in depth, for a complete art education structured like a college program that you can do from home, you should check out my own art program. Join our community. It's great if you have no experience at all, or if you're more experienced too. I genuinely recommend it to every artist out there. Check the coupon code in the video description for a big discount until the end of the month only. I'm very proud of it. Don't miss out. Now, another concern I hear often is from artists who feel they are making slow progress or stopped progressing completely. It might be natural to think that you just don't have what it takes and give up, especially if you've been at it for a while. But I'll guarantee you the problem is not your abilities. At least, usually it's not. The problem will simply be in the structure of your education. Going back to the previous points, find a teacher, change how you study, and seek alternatives to what's not been working for you. I read it in the comments here on YouTube all the time. When explained right, things click more easily. It's not magic. how you study is the answer. Don't give up. Almost everyone can become a skilled artist. Now, of course, another struggle might be that you're just overwhelmed by all there is to learn, seeing how good other artists you look up to might be. It's easy to feel discouraged when you can't even imagine what went into a particular piece. It's fine to follow good artists, but I'd also recommend that you join an art community. Spend time finding a good one, full of artists that are just a little better than you and others who are just a little worse than you. Just aim to get as good as those that are slightly better, instead of comparing yourself to someone who's had years of experience you don't yet have. It's the same in sports, right? You start in a little league and make your way up through different leagues until you reach the top professional league. Little by little, small, consistent steps forward. Alright, the last struggle I want to mention in this first section is the misinformation you might hear from friends and family members regarding art as a career. If you want to know something, you go to the professionals, right? If you're seriously sick, you go see a doctor, not your mom. Well, same with art. There's plenty of money to be made as artists. It's a fantastic career when you have the right tools and knowledge. Don't let people dissuade you from pursuing it, especially if they have no clue. Now, let's move on to motivation struggles, usually more relevant to you if you've been an artist for some time. What if you love art like most of us do, but you just can't get yourself to sit down and practice? That happens to a lot of us, I know. I'll give you 2 tips. First, lower the scope of your project, as in just go into it with the intention of producing a simple doodle. Commit 2 minutes. Don't commit to anything too big because that can make us freeze. Also, never leave your desk or your sketchpad being sour. If you're frustrated and can't do something, shelf it for now and quickly whip out something well within your comfort zone. Something you know you'll feel good about, even if it's just super simple. It's basic psychology of association. If you always leave your office in a negative state of mind, you'll get to associate the art to that. We don't tend to want to do things that are negative. Instead, always try to stop yourself while you're having fun. This way, you'll always have a strong desire to get back to the fun, a positive association to art. That's big brain stuff. Another struggle we often face is negative exterior factors, like getting negative comments on your art or a general lack of interest from people you show it to. It's very important to do art for interior factors, just for the love of creating. More specifically though, for the happiness you get from improving at a skill you love. If you keep improving, that internal feeling of gratification should carry you through the external ups and downs. If you get addicted to getting likes and measuring your worth through how much attention your art gets, that's all sorts of unhealthy. Focus on improving. Don't focus on getting likes. The likes will come naturally as you improve. Now, if you're happy with your art, but you're still baffled by the lack of interest online, just understand that you'll be in no man's land for a while initially. Can't help it. Nobody knows you exist. On social media, initially it's all about making connections. It's hard work, but you gotta comment on everything. On many different artists' profiles, in groups, on Discord servers, and reply to everyone. Every time you leave a comment, it's a link for someone to click on and find your profile. It's like leaving breadcrumbs everywhere. Don't spam obviously, but engage. You almost gotta spend more time engaging with others than you spend on the art itself initially, until you have at least a couple hundred followers. Eventually that will reverse, it just takes time. Less time the more you engage. Finally, let's take a quick look at some art career struggles. The first one being, how do you turn this from a hobby to a paid job? Well, it doesn't happen overnight usually. Often it'll start with friends and family asking you to do small stuff for free. Then as you get better, you might want to advertise on social media that you're open to do commissions. As you start doing more commissions and keep on improving, you increase your prices to manage supply and demand. Then you might get some publications reach out to you for interviews or features. Then the big companies might start to reach out or be interested when you apply. I recommend that you keep it as a hobby for as long as you can, maybe earning a little money on the side while working full-time or part-time. When you start to get too many requests for your art, then it's safe to think about doing it full-time. Don't blindly jump in, quit everything and think you'll be fine until you see clear proof that it's a viable path. Before earning any kind of money though, the focus should be on your portfolio. Keep an updated portfolio with recent art, no older than 2 years, and aim to have like 20 to 30 pieces in there, discarding old ones that no longer reflect your skill level. Also, keep it simple. When we visit your portfolio, it should be all art. No annoying links to click or landing pages. Art first and as much of it as possible. Last one then, Artists will often ask if they should even consider a job at a studio, let's say, when the job posting requires X amount of years of experience or an art degree. Let me just be very clear here. Job postings are wish lists, not requirements. However they might phrase it, even if those things are actually listed as requirements, you absolutely do not need an art degree or any kind of formal art education to work as an artist. Proof is in the numbers. The latest data from the US Census shows that 86% of all working professional artists have no formal education. That's 14% only with a formal education. They're a tiny minority, yet art colleges will charge you hundreds of thousands of dollars for a formal education. What a joke. You don't need a formal education. You don't need any experience. As long as your portfolio is a solid fit for the job and you're a cool, humble person. That's all you need. And I'm seeing this from experience as somebody who's interviewed dozens of people, who's good friends with a lot of different recruiters at different companies. If anything, given two equivalent candidates, in all the interviews I've been in, our team would always pick the one who didn't go to school and achieved the same level as the one who did. It showed more potential. Anyways, that was a lot. That's gonna be it for this week's class. I hope it helped. Let me know if you're having any of these struggles, or maybe others I didn't mention for a future video. Also, want my brushes, bro? You can actually download them for free if you haven't already. Link in the video description. They're all brushes I use daily. They're some of my favorite. Now, before you click on another video, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on to be on time for next week's class. We're dangerously closing in on 1 million subscribers. Do it now!
Oh, that's concerning.